is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 62. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud. We call him E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Eastradamus, a.k.a. Pap E. O'Daniel, a.k.a. the Fashionista, a.k.a. Chili Willy, a.k.a. Joe E. Chestnut, a.k.a. Eon Stockel. E, midweek here. First time we've been able to record on a Wednesday in about a month because of the congested schedule that we have just broken free from. Although I got to be honest, I would have rather had a game either last night or tonight and still be playing in the U.S. Open Cup, but the team needed the break. So I'm taking a deep breath, relaxing a little bit here in the midweek. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm good. I think the team needed the break. I also needed the break. My wallet needed the break. I'm dealing with the ramifications of all of those games back to back, kind of. I think I woke up to a negative balance in my bank account this morning that I had to rectify. Took care of that. But exciting episode, and it's an exciting month of June here for the club, as we have some interesting matchups, some rivalry matchups. Obviously, we all know we're stuck in this congested part of the table and hoping we can break free and start turning this thing around where we want to be.
Yeah, no doubt. The three remaining games here in the month of June, not just big for the team's position in the table, but we got to win this fucking Copa Tejas, man. Because if at the end of the day, as long as we can pick that up, then you have some bragging rights over the supporters. You can call it a Mickey Mouse trophy all you want, and you're probably right.
Yeah.
But I would rather have that than not. So, big games coming up. Obviously, we'll preview here, and I think we'll probably just jump right into talking about Sporting KC. We have a guest today, Mr. Kevin Lopez, Keviñcho himself, coming on, and it could not have been a better day because today, Wednesday, June 7th, 2023, is the day that Leo Messi came to MLS. So timing could not have worked out better for the biggest Messi fan that I know in Kevin, and being able to chop it up with him about that, talk a little bit about TST, and of course preview the match. But we'll kind of put the ends on that preview here, because obviously we didn't want to make him suffer through our entire preview of this Saturday's match. We'll talk last business day, of course, Austin FC 2 back at home this Friday, 8 p.m. I'm so used to saying that they play tomorrow after all these Thursday pods we've done. Friday night, 8 p.m. at the pitch. I know you will not be there, going up to New York, visit your brother. Shout out to Debo. I can't wait to see him, hopefully soon. But I will be out at the pitch on Friday, because I missed last week, and I miss our favorite team, Austin FC, too.
I will definitely have some FOMO with that. I'm trying to figure out if I can, because my flight's super late at night, so I think I might be able to potentially pay for some Wi-Fi and try to watch the game. That's my aspiration, at least, because I definitely don't want to miss watching those boys. Start stringing some wins back together.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, we'll close it out with the typical nonsense. The best ball update, the betting picks. See if we can get this thing turned around here. Week 17, 18, wherever we are now, man. We are coming up on the halfway point of the Austin FC schedule here in 2023. Game 17 is this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Central. Out there in Kansas City, taking on SKC. We go through the history between the two teams. That is one thing I did want to make Kevin sit through while we had him here, because it's one of the few teams that we have a pretty darn good track record against to this point in our club's young history. But didn't want to, make him listen to our two dumbasses debate between who we think is going to start this match. So let's do that now. Obviously, we know no Leo. Owen Wolf back in training today, or at least riding the bike there, but looked like he was going to be a full go, I think, with the boys today. So I guess let's start there. Do you think Owen Wolff gets the start here on Saturday?
No, I don't think he starts. I think it's pretty likely we see him get subbed on, but I do not think he starts. He logged pretty heavy minutes there with the U.S. youth team, and obviously he's still in shape. He's a young man. He's going to be fine. But with the players we've gotten back, Fagundes, Seba, you'll see some guys, who are going to be kind of odd men out on the rotation. And I think that might be what happens with Owen here. So if I had to, make a bet, which would probably lose some units, I would say you don't see him start, but you see him on the club or see him on the team. And I do think he would be a nice sub to bring on.
Yeah, no
in the
question.
Second half of this match.
Yeah. And I think too that him coming off the bench, maybe you just have more options in how you want to attack the game, mid second half with those adjustments. If you've got Danny out there with either Sophie or Johan, you can kind of pick and choose there on where you insert Owen if he does in fact get into this game. And I'll go the other way. And I think you probably are on the more likely side of this outcome with Owen coming off the bench. Like you mentioned, like he played a lot out there in those games, weren't exactly spaced out, but he is young. And I think just the talent was shining through there, even if the kid's not a polished product at this point. The 18-year-old is one of our most promising players. And I maybe this is just my desire rather than what I think is going to happen. I want to see him back in the 11. Because where we are ailing is in the offensive end. And for me, he helps a lot in that regard. But either way, going to be good just to have him available, continue to try to recuperate some of our depth here. We know it's going to take a little bit longer on that back line, but let's go to the center backs now. We don't have a Radovanovic update as of yet. I think the press availability is likely Thursday this week. So we'll be keeping our eyes peeled for any updates from Phil or anybody, Adam, anybody else who goes out there to the press conferences for an update there. Let's say he's active, right? He's good to go, gets the clearance from the trainers. Because Josh did say chance for him to be in training this week. I still think it sounds far-fetched given the injuries that they said he had, but let's say he's available. He gets the start, right?
I don't know. I don't know if he's healthy, if we're going to run the 3 back, or if we're going to go to that, more traditional kind of 4 back line. I'm not sure if the adjustment that coach made versus RSL was a direct response to the fact that Rado was not available. And if he is available, again, we've just seen that it takes a little time for these guys to get pushed into the starting lineup with how we operate as a club. And then you throw into the mix that he's hurt already. I don't think you would see him start, even if he has a full go status, because he's still going to have some sort of lingering issue with that shoulder if he's out there. And while it's not overly impactful for a soccer player, it's still obviously something. You're pumping your arms while you're running. You're getting physical with guys. You're trying to keep them off the ball, keep them off your body. So I don't think he would start, even if he was a full go. And that I just have to go based on precedent and say that you would see that 4 back again, because I speculated that was why we shifted versus RSL. So I would say it's going to be Julio, Cap, Alex.
Still call you Cap, Alex.
Yeah, I'm still calling you Cap, man. I think it's going to be Nick. And I don't think that there's any reason to not be okay with Nick there on probably the right side. And, he's played well. And again, like you said, with hinting at the Owen thing, we've been looking for something offensively to kind of get us out of this rut. that we just can't get 2 goals in a match here. And I think that Nick kind of provides a dynamic there. Lundy on the left, I would assume. I think you're going to get Danny Johan there in the middle with the pairing. And then it gets interesting because it's like, what are you doing with Fagu? What are you doing with Seba? And what are you doing with Rigoni? And how are you going to make those guys kind of work? And I think you'll get a Fagundes Seba start and Rigoni off the bench again. Mm-hmm. And then G up top. I'm not sure if I'm missing anybody there. I don't think I am. Was that 9 or 10?
I think you'd be one short there.
I think I'm
maybe. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
If we're in that 4-back setup, do we maybe see all 3 of those guys start in terms of Diego and Seba and Emi, kind of right there behind Gyasi on offense?
That's a good question. You know what? Yeah, I think that would be nice. I think that would be something I would want to see. I mean, those are Rigoni's a DP.
Yeah.
Fagu's one of our highest paid players. Seba, obviously our best player. We got to get him on the pitch. The time frame that we have to right this ship right now is ever dwindling with every single day, every single match. It just makes it more and more difficult to be in the position that we want to be in. So with these next 3 games coming up here, all very important games to me. You got this SKC club that's coming in that's super hot right now. So yeah, you know what? I will correct myself and say, Rigoni, yes, I do like that idea. Got to put the best players on the pitch right now.
Yeah, I think that's just my the layman's idea that I have right now is how is Josh I'm just hoping, I guess, that Josh uses this week, and not that this is the first time he's obviously thought about this or how he can construct this formation to get the best out of all 3 of those guys, because there's no way, this is not a hot take, there's no way this team reaches its ceiling if we can't figure out how to play all 3 of those guys together.
True.
And not all 90 minutes, every single game, all 3 of those guys starting, but in terms of our main lineup, those guys need the minutes. And they, guys Rigoni's got to keep his fucking form up, like we talked about on Sunday. You can't have this 2-3 match dip, no matter what is going on. Tired legs, guys are out. I get it, but that's just the reality of the situation. And for us to reach our potential, he's got to be more consistent. And Diego's got to get back, maybe not to that level of last year, not 100%, but he's got to be closer than he is now, or than he has been this entire season.
When are we expecting him to get back to that form? Because at this point, he's been back for a while.
This month.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know, I could see him going 90 this Saturday. But I think by the time we see Houston and Dallas come into town later this month, that's when I want to see him on the pitch if it happens this Saturday and he gets on the score sheet in some form or fashion, fan-fucking-tastic, right? That's great. But I'm still giving Diego a little bit of time with his form, his fitness, because we know the groinals, that groin demon, right? Shout out to Phil. Yeah, man. By the way, I don't know if you read his article yesterday, but he said the shoulder specter in terms of Radovanovic. Like groin demon and shoulder specter. You know those guys on Reddit who make the fake magic cards about MLS? Yeah. There's 2 of them right there.
-2. Yeah. player afflicted with groin demons.
Yeah, so I think for me, I'm still giving Diego a little bit of runway, more than I did at the beginning of the season when I thought the excuses were not there to not be in shape, coming in off a full preseason, etc. Now, you've been out, you sat 5 games. It's a longer process to come back from an injury like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think by the time Houston comes to town or Dallas, I forget again which one comes first. We got to be firing on all cylinders. And maybe that's too much to ask of this team as a whole, both the coaches and the players, but that's the standard I'm setting for them right now. Like you said at the top, this is a big 3-game stretch for us.
Absolutely. And we're never going to be where we want to be, no matter who's at the helm, if we're not getting the production that we need to get from our best players. And it starts with Seba and obviously extends to Fagu and obviously extends to Rigoni. So here's their opportunity to shut a lot of people up and show that they're ready to go, ready to play. And I think we see a response from these guys. You know, they had the great moment there with the subs and Maxi with the Argentinian connection. And that was great to see. And then we felt like we might have been turning a bit of a corner. And you have the RSL match. And it's just an unlucky kind of match there because, you know, we've said before that we've been lucky to win certain games. And in this sport, you're going to be unlucky to, you know, to drop certain matches. And the RSL match is a perfect example of that. So, you know, 2 big rivalry games, man. And I'm with you. I think Diego is ready to turn the corner. He's gotten his feet wet again. He's gotten acclimated back into the system. Obviously, things have been changing, and we've done everything we possibly could to survive this brutal stretch that we've been through here. You know, I'm expecting a big game from one of those 3. Yeah, we're going to need it to win.
Yep, 100%. I see that pen in your hand. Looking real smart, my friend. Looking good.
Yeah, my Post-its here.
I guess the only other things that I'll say about lineup desires here, I think if we're playing all 3 of those guys together, I think Josh probably has to run out the 4-back here again. And let's give Nicky some rest here. Move Johnny back to the right, put Adam in on the left, and just continue to rotate those guys. But, you know, again, I feel fine with any of the 3 at this point. And then, G up top for sure. Getting back in there after not playing at all against RSL.
Gotta be G. Also, we forgot last pod. We met Gyasi's wife up in
yeah, that's right.
It was awesome. We'll do it quickly. We were up there, see somebody walking past us with a Zardes jersey, obviously going to show some love to a fellow supporter. You know, I think I said, hey, nice jersey or something like that. Yeah. She turned around and said, oh, thank you. And we're like, oh, we love G. She's like, well, yeah, I love him too. He's my husband.
Yeah. We're like, oh shit.
Yeah, you love him a little more then.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome to meet the Mrs. Zardes there. So typically here, right, we would do our score predictions, but we do give score predictions and we get one from Kevin at the end of this interview here. So let's go ahead and toss it to our chat with Kevin Lopez. All right, everybody. We teased it earlier in the episode, but you may have just seen his name on the title of this episode and skipped right to this part. Joining us today, we are happy to have Mr. Kevin Lopez. You probably know him from the Keviñcho Twitter account, YouTube account, might be 4BTV, AFA Fan TV, the Bombasso Show. He's everywhere this past weekend out there at TST with Conrad and Beasley United. It's Kevin Lopez. Kevin, thanks for joining us, man. How you doing?
What's up, guys? No, thank you for having me. I think you're officially first pod since I came back, so it's good to be back.
Man, I would love to say that, you know, when we were talking about doing this 10 days ago or so, that I planned this, you know, on the day that, you know, the greatest soccer player of all time comes to our league. But no, man, I think I did want to get into your background a little bit, but I know we don't want to keep you here for like 2 hours. We can be pretty long-winded. So anything else you want to add to your background? I think anybody who's familiar with you knows Argentinian native, right? Family moved to the U.S. when you were fairly young. Fan of River Plate, Argentina, Liverpool. I think the Barca and PSG was mostly just following your boy, right?
Yeah,
and then Napoli with because of Maradona, and
right.
And of course a Sporting KC fan. So anything else you want to add before we just kind of jump into the craziness of today?
No, I mean, I'm just pretty much like any other. But if I'm being honest, I'm pretty average compared to most of American soccer fans. A lot of us have multiple teams for any reason. Some reasons are maybe no reason. Some people are like, I like that kit when I was 10 years old, and now I'm a fan of Manchester City. It's like, yeah, that's how it is. Sometimes it's players. Sometimes it's like maybe your grandparents are from Napoli, so you're a Napoli fan or whatever. But just like a normal guy who's obsessed with this, just like you guys. And I don't even know how to react to today, right? Like right now, I got like 3 Argentinian TV channels right now on one screen, just splitting, just seeing if there's anything else to add. But no, just multitasking right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, we definitely classify ourselves as diehard Austin fans, but we are relatively new, especially to MLS. But we're both basketball guys at heart. That's it. We met playing college basketball and just have kind of been in the same area and stayed close friends. So it's you and all the other content creators that we can get our eyes on have been teaching us, not just about the sport, but especially about Major League Soccer. So now that you are combining your 2 loves here with Messi and Major League Soccer, I mean, as somebody who I think, is it fair to say that you would do some dirty things for Messi, right?
Oh, I would do some very illegal transactions for that man. No worries, no question. Yeah, for sure.
But you're also on the record, right, saying that older stars coming to this league isn't really great for MLS from the wide view.
Yeah.
You've also put in the qualifiers there that Messi's maybe a little bit different, at least for you personally. So I guess going to sleep last night with the Athletic article and Tommy Scoops and Tenorio and all those guys putting out their little, the smoke last night and waking up this morning to the news flurry that we saw. Yeah. What's been your reaction the last 24 hours to this?
I think mostly, like you mentioned, obviously it's different for me, but it's like when Pele came to the U.S. No way, if I was living in at that time, I would be like, this is not good for U.S. I mean, it's just you have those very select few where you're like, all right, I'm going to hold this off. This is a different kind of guy than like a Chiellini coming to the league or whatever, So yeah, I still stand by that. The Messi situation for me has just been like the most annoying thing. And for most fans, especially Argentina fans or Messi fans, it's like, obviously for me, I wanted him to finish in Barcelona. I just wanted him to say goodbye, at least to the fans, the club. So that was my number one choice, even though I joked here and there. It'd be great to see Messi in MLS, selfishly, obviously. But that club, now I'm not holding it back anymore because I could care less about the Catalonians. I could care less about that area. I could care less about Spain, and I'm Spanish. I cannot stand how that club is ran. The president is a moron. Down to some of the even now the fans are like, no longer a club legend. I'm like, bro, you guys have 2 brain cells. Like, you got to be brain dead in Barcelona. Listen, when the back and forth was going on, where the dad met with the president, and like still things aren't looking too good, I'm like, what's the problem now? Okay, Messi, just take a pay cut. Players maybe need to leave, whatever. Even if it's a loan deal, figure it out. And then no, the PSG thing. God, thank God that's over with. I'm just happy that ended. So then last night, like you mentioned, I'm like, okay, if he comes to MLS, good. Maybe he's not going to play great. Maybe he's just going to not try. I don't care. I want him out of there for sure, France. I want him not at Barcelona anymore, just knowing how badly it's ran and just, vibe, especially with his kids. Like now everyone's thinking about the family situation. His kids are getting older, and now it's like an awkward thing as someone who moved young to a different country. I think it's important to have some type of stable ground. You don't want your kids living in Barcelona and France and Miami. You just want them in one spot, going to the same schools. So I just thought, look, the dude did what I want him to do. Okay, he brought home something that I've always wanted. Yeah. And now I'm just like, just have fun, just relax. Obviously, it's like perfect timing. Copa America is going to be here, so you can chill and maybe try that out if he wants, and maybe have a vibe during the next World Cup, which is unlikely. But I don't know. It's just like, for me and a lot of fans who just like him as a person and his family, it feels great. For the league, it's going to be interesting because I already see MLS fans that are not happy, of course. Definitely some MLS writers, reporters that are a little snarky towards the whole thing, but it's whatever, dude. Whatever. Soft block. I'll put them in a little mute and move on.
We've been there.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a little different than the Bale situation from last year. And we saw him throughout the course of like the regular season, really just kind of treating this as a warm up for the Cup. And then he gets into the playoffs and obviously the MLS Cup and has this huge impact on the game. So how do you see Messi impacting this team right away? Because obviously they have been struggling this entire season. They're not a very talented roster, but you add arguably the greatest player of all time to this team. Do you think, he's going to be coasting during these regular season games, or is he going to come in right away when he finally does make his debut with this club and just make an instant impact that propels this Inter Miami club up the table?
It's going to be interesting to see, what does he want? Is he going to try to be that poacher, that goal scorer, or is he just going to be that guy feeding the young guys, the young Miami players that are going in? We'll see what the heck is going to. I mean, you cannot surround him with the team that he is right now. It's not a good team. It's like, again, putting Messi in Sporting, bro, good luck, dog. I mean, you're going to have to really switch it up. Obviously, the coaching situation is going to be interesting. I'm hoping so hard it's not Tata, but it looks like it's going to be Tata, which, okay. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to be like an easy, like everyone's like, oh, Messi's going to score 3 on your team or whatever. I'm like, I don't think so. It's like, if it was like he goes back to Barca this year, I'm for sure he has that feeling. Last dance, got to fight, push this team, maybe one last Champions League run. What is he going to do? Push them for a freaking U.S. Open run or a Leagues Cup run? Maybe, right? Or a Leagues Cup run? I don't know. I think it's going to really depend on the guys around him. I think right now, like this first year, season, whatever, is going to be so weird because I don't even see them doing well. Messi or no Messi, I just don't. It seems like a mess at that team. So it's going to suck. Obviously, we're going to get the reports of like Messi can't even make it in the playoffs. MLS, it's like, I get it. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting. I think there's no way I could say he's going to have an easy time. For sure not. It's unlike anything he's played. It's a huge country, crazy travel. It's like you're playing in the Champions League all the time. You're traveling every different elevations, humidity, heat, cold. Just that stuff alone at a 35-plus-year-old is crazy. But I'm just excited just for him to be here and to be. Obviously, I want to go to that Sporting. There's a Sporting Miami game in September. I'm just locked in on that, and that's in Miami too. So all vibes, but it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we'll see. I've seen some screenshots of ticket prices for their away games. It's as you would expect, and probably as it should be, to be honest.
Sure.
Just the way we do things here, right?
I
mean, it's a transcendent moment for the league, right?
Right. Yeah.
Designated players came about from a similar moment like this with David Beckham. Where does MLS go from here? Like, in your mind, do you think there needs to be changes made to the salary cap, the DP structure? Like, what's the best course of action for the league to capitalize on this moment that they're about to have? I know we're just a few hours removed from the news, so maybe you don't have a whole spiel ready to go here, but just quick takes. What are your thoughts there?
I think Don, listen to me right now, Mr. MLS, you're going to have to let it go. Okay, baby? We need to see some caps. Oh, because here's the thing. These next few years, we're going to get the most eyes that we ever had ever. All right? It's going to be time to use it. If that means, all right, get young guys from South America like we've been doing, but really push. I think there's a bunch of names that clubs just can't. They can't afford it, or they just can't go in it because there's other interested parties. Now there's going to be young guys going, I want to play against Messi. Defenders are drooling right now in South America. They're like, get me in that league. So, that's going to make it complicated when you have these salary caps and whatnot. But we want to keep it fair as possible. But also just look at the Premier League. If we want to be them in 5-10 years, we're going to have to step it up, dude. We're going to have to open stuff up. I know, like, from a fan point of view, I'm sure the guys in MLS who actually know what they're talking about are probably rolling their eyes, knowing that it's not that easy or whatever. But it's like that one. It's like having Pele be Pele, like where he was now, okay, and just bringing him in. I would be saying the same thing. Like, green means go, league. We gotta freaking bring in money. Let that open. If teams sink or swim, that's they sink or swim. Obviously, LA, maybe in Austin. Inter Miami are going to do better than like a Kansas City or a Minnesota. Hey, that's the league. That's just like any league. It's crazy that I've had friends tell me who are in MLS go, well, it's not fair, Kevin, because then, the big club, but don't even start. Every league in the world, there's the big clubs, the middle table clubs, and the lower. That's how it is. Obviously, sometimes you have miracle runs. You have your Leicesters who win the league, and it's like the most amazing thing ever. That's what it's like. We have Manchester City's like destroying England right now without even trying. And that's how it is. It's just the sport. So I feel like MLS, we don't have to be so unique and so different. I think there's some things we should copy, and there's some things that we should, keep our own little spicy MLS moment for sure.
Yeah. Well, obviously the league has a long track record of trying to inject a little bit of spice, a little bit of juice into the league and making it different. So, I mean, and when it comes to the salary cap, I think it's going to be an interesting thing to watch, the discussion about what everybody thinks the best course of action for the league is to take. I think what most people can probably agree on is that we can't keep it the status quo, right? Yeah. And maybe not being so afraid to take some of those restrictions off, like you mentioned. Like you look at even just like we like to compare to the sports in this country, even though it's never a 1-to-1 comparison, right? But you look at Major League Baseball, which on the surface, who cares? Yeah. But no salary cap, right? So like that league still, I don't know if I can say they're succeeding at the moment, but like it's worked for a very long time. So yeah, that'll be very interesting to watch going forward. Sure. So yeah, man, it's tough to be a fan of MLS and not be excited today. Man, that's just where I'm at right now.
I know, look, and it's going to go both ways because the reactionary to get the clicks, the article clicks or whatever, you're going to have guys go, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to the league. Right. And then you're going to have the opposite of going like, oh, this is one of the greatest moments and whatnot. So it's going to be fun to see. It's going to be the most annoying thing for a few months just because people will be freaking out either way about it. But all in all, I think it's just a great thing. I know it's going to be temporary. Obviously, it's not going to be here forever. All these eyes are not going to be here forever. But if we can impress people, I already know people in South America are going to be like, all right, I got to download this Apple TV app. Let's see what this is about. Boom. All right. Now we're going. Now Apple is probably sitting back like counting the cash. They're like, hell yeah. I know there's some things that they had to do to get them here. But just imagine just subscriptions alone. Like, great. Then, jersey sales and all this stuff is insane. Just like when Sporting had their conversations with freaking Ronaldo, that's got to be the only reason Sporting reached out. It's like, dude, we need this type of player for just money alone. Forget skill, and of course they're great guys. They're ballers. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It's any chances that you take your talents to South Beach?
Man, I'm definitely going down there. That's for sure. I can't hop teams, but it is funny that I don't know. I always feel a certain type of way with this club, almost like every other week. I try to bite my tongue. Sometimes I don't bite my tongue, which gets me in problems. But no, it's like hard to. I really don't care about Inter. I barely know. I mean, they're a newer team. I could barely care about them, but I just want them to do well. Obviously, every Inter game I'm watching, so I'll be paying attention. But it's gonna be fun. I think it sucks that they don't have their stadium. I mean, they're playing in Argentina would be like a third division stadium. But look, I know there's some complications out there and whatnot, and they have plans for the stadium. But I think all I care about is just him chilling. Even though the first person that just takes him out, it's going to be the biggest tweet and highlight reel of their lives, sure. But who cares? If I was a player, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be like, "That's right, Leo." But yeah, that's the other thing. All the banter, all the fights and beef between teams, and imagine the admins. Like, nice try, Messi, or what? Just imagine. The beef is going to be amazing. Like, I cannot wait.
When you might know a little bit more about the club Inter Miami if there was a horde of Miami fans infiltrating your content like there is down here in Austin. Right. And we have our fair share of Argentinians as well. But before we get to some Austin and KC talk, real quick on TST, both of us, you're the one who actually turned me on to the fact that tournament was even happening. both of us are big TBT fans. So for those who don't know, the basketball tournament, the soccer tournament, winner take all tourneys just popped up in the last couple of years. This was the first TST to take place. I know they already have, I think, tickets on, if not on sale, you can sign up to be on the wait list for the 24 tournament. So I imagine your trip out there came about because you have struck up a friendship with Jimmy Conrad, and I know that has been an awesome experience for you. But in terms of going out there with the Conrad and Beasley United team, I guess just talk a little bit about that experience, how you got, I imagine that was the connection with Jimmy there.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Because we all watched it online through your phone, right? But like you being there, it just seemed like it was a fucking blast, man. So talk just a little bit about that.
Yeah. So me and Jimmy got pretty close pretty recently, right before the World Cup. I started, editing content for him because he saw my stuff. So then I continued being like his little part-time editor for the World Cup, after the World Cup, for some advertisement stuff he's been doing. And then he just asked me, he's like, listen, there's this TST thing and TBT, like I know all about it. So I knew exactly what it was. So he was like, hey, are you interested to come out? I'll fly you out. I need you pretty much editing like 12-hour days. Like it's going to be crazy days for you. And I'm like, hell yeah. Are you kidding me? Like just I didn't even think about it. And going out, like you said, so like if anyone doesn't know, it's 7v7. Okay. It's 20-minute halves, no throw-ins, no offsides, no slide tackling, which let's be honest, there was definitely slide tackling, but all these crazy rules. There's no extra time. It goes into a target score. So if you're winning 3-2, they'll make the target score 4. First team to 4 wins. So those teams that are at 2, they could come back and win, which happened all the time. And we were that team twice. Yeah. So it was like the most insane thing. Everything ends just like in TBT in a game winner, in a golden goal, in a buzzer beater, basically. And which just meant you're freaking losing your mind. You're about to see your team. You possibly concede. Like we played Wrexham, which had the biggest poll, probably the most eyes in the final 8 teams out there. So yeah, like that game, that Wrexham game, like we hit the game winner. It was like the greatest feeling. Like I said, everyone was saying that it's their best moment because it reminded me at least of playing club ball as a kid. You're playing like a tournament over a weekend, starting from a Thursday to a Sunday, just like you did when you're a kid. You're playing multiple times a day, which was insane for these players. It wasn't like a walk in the park. Some of these guys are playing an hour-long, high intensity. Guys are dropping other guys, elbowing, breaking cheekbones, eye sockets, like craziness, because it's $1 million or nothing. I mean, it's insane. It was so fun. Even like now, like the day I arrived, dude, I slept like 2 days straight, dude. I could not. I slept like 3 hours a day. It was nonstop editing, then out with the team filming, then back like super hot, muggy, sticky, then editing, going to sleep at 3 a.m. every freaking day. It was horrible for me, but the experience in all was great. Meeting players like, I mean, Beasley was literally nutmegging me on the sideline because we were just fucking with each other, and just, having fun, just like joking around while the guys are like in war, or about to go to war. And Bees is like, nah, I'm not going in. And he looks over to me and like nutmegs me. I mean, come on. That's a 4-time World Cup player, dude. That's crazy. And Jimmy, everyone knows Jimmy. He's a character and he's like that in real life, on camera, off camera. The dude is on 10. It was the greatest thing. I can't wait for next year. Hopefully, Jimmy and Bees, do it again. Even though they're saying let's do it again, you never know. It's hard. And now we already have clubs who woke up. I mean, we already had like a West Ham, a Dortmund, all those clubs, but now we're getting interest from like Manchester United, Real Madrid, Liverpool. It's like, God, it just gets harder and harder from this year, as you probably know, with TBT. So yeah, it was one of the greatest experiences ever. I have a video plan to just edit to talk about the whole thing, just me speaking. Because there's just so many stories, like so many that I'm sure I'll bring up on live streams or whatever. But all in all, greatest tournament, greatest soccer memory I have other than like watching a World Cup final win or something like that. It's just you're immersed with these players. Like D-Row was a guy that you don't know like how he's a hot shot. The guy was a G, you know, one of the
Right.
greatest players in MLS history, and you just don't know how he's going to go into it. He came in super humble, recording the media guys, you know, talking with us, hanging out with us, inviting us out to drinks and eat. Like everyone was great. It was the first time I ever went to a soccer tournament where we weren't like murdering each other, like yelling at each other on the sidelines. Once you get, you know, once they get back from being subbed, you're like, bro, you gotta do. It was none of that. It was cool, collected, because most of our guys are ex legendary players that know what they're doing, and they knew when to stay calm. It was kind of like why we went so long. It was like, all right, we're down 2 goals. Relax, guys. Come on, like calm down. We got plenty of time, plenty to do. So yeah, all in all, great tournament. Would do it again. Can't wait.
That's awesome, man. I
Yeah.
mean, I think you probably could never have imagined you would get the chance to run out on a field, not just with those guys to celebrate a win, but while waving goodbye to Ryan Reynolds and Wrexham.
That was I bring that up in the video, but like it was just like the fans were all Wrexham fans. I mean, it's like that thing where there's a lot of Ted Lasso fans and there's a lot of Wrexham fans. It's all because of the shows. Of course, that's great.
Right.
The thing was, it was like USA versus England, Wales out there, right? And we're Mr. USA. We're Conrad Beasley United. We're wearing USA color. We got stars and stripes on our jersey, and you have a bunch of Americans cheering for Wrexham. Like I literally had to turn my head and go, bro, what are we doing? One of the fans were like throwing things and booing at every goal. I'm like, I heard their accent. They were definitely not Welsh, you know, like dog. So, and of course, Ricardo, who scored the game winner, saying goodbye. It like that brought out all the anger and everything out of you, just going like, bro, get out, like ciao. And every other game after that, I'm being so serious. We went to the final. The atmosphere was not at all the same. Super quiet. It was, you know, full stadium for sure, especially the final, but it wasn't the same at all. It sucks because like it would have been even better if like Wrexham made it, or maybe a Conrad Beasley made it. Just something with like a big name, but the team who ended up winning was a team from like Connecticut. You know, that's when you know it does not matter who's on your squad in those type of games. So yeah, I cannot wait to see what happens next. I'm sure we're going to get more big names and possibly even more big players, according to rumors.
Yeah. Well, man, and in that final, man, that clinching goal was clinical. It's awesome at the end.
If I was on the opposing team, I would cry. If I get scored on like that, whew, that was disgusting. Yeah.
All right, let's talk Sporting KC and Austin FC facing off up there in your neck of the woods here on Saturday. We always go through a little bit of the history between the two, and I'm going to make you sit here and listen to the history because this is one of the few teams that we actually here in Austin have a good track record against.
Yeah.
In 21, we faced off 3 times. First time twice, the first 2 actually up there in KC. 2-1 KC win. Gallagher gets the 7th minute goal. We're coming off 2 wins in our first 3 matches ever as a club, flying high. 82nd and 90th minute goals for the win. After Alex Ring got his first red card, then a 1-1 draw. I think 2 months later, Cecilio Dominguez scored. Then your boy, Daniel Shallowy with the equalizer, I think 72nd minute there. And then penultimate game of the 2021 season, you guys came down here. Driussi scores in the first minute. Stroud gets his only goal with the club before he turned heel this season. And that was the first game, actually, Kevin, that John Gallagher played fullback for Austin FC, and he's been there ever since.
Whoa, okay.
Cool. Last year, probably not your fondest memory, the Cam Duke red card, and then kind of the BS Ring goal where Polskamp just let it go right through his legs. And then one of the games of the season, even though you guys, you know, even though we came out on top in Austin in August, the 4-3 with the Danny Hosen wonder goal, Johnny Russell shushing the crowd after his PK. So obviously we're hoping that we get to use you guys to get back on track from some of the, you know, we've been a little bit derailed this season, and you guys are the hottest team in the league, I think, in the last month with 13 of the 17 points in May. I see you rolling your eyes. Injuries have been a big factor for you guys, though, right? Like Willie's been out for a while, still going to be out, and now Johnny's out again.
I mean, look, especially with us, I mean, that's what all of last season was. It was like no DPs, everybody's injured, we all suck. And then this season, it's like, okay, players should be coming back. We're still sucking. And then we just lose guys that we just signed. It's like, God, it never ends for us. And then, yeah, that stupid stat of like hottest team last month or whatever it was. Like, even I got to like disconnect from MLS for like 2 weeks, which low key was the greatest, honestly, the greatest feeling for me. I just did not think about sporting for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But, and then I'm seeing these stats of like crazy amount of goals scored and chances created and passes. I'm like, what is happening? And then at the same time, because it's one of the only clubs I follow, I guess religiously, is Austin in MLS. More of like a slight struggles, or it's like you look good one day and then bad the next day, and it's just like back and forth. You guys again are still going through troubles, but it also, none of it makes sense. Like, to me, the Austin, like looking at your squad, I know you lost some players and everything, but your squad in whole is like the better team. They are okay. So of course, I'm sure Austin fans, and I'm trying not to like get in too deep with Austin fans, but I'm sure Austin fans are kind of looking towards coach, like, all right, what's going on here? Why are we making this play? Why are bringing in this guy at this time or whatever? Which, yeah, sure, you guys tasted like greatness, last season, and really could have just gone all the way. So of course, this season where it doesn't look like the same and you're struggling out the gate a little bit, you look at the coach. Obviously, coming from a sporting fan, I don't have to think about that too much. I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
But it's also like a thing where I would panic more for sporting fans or sporting, because I don't see too much hope at the end of the tunnel, even though like that weird stat, it's just always weird. This is only MLS where we have weird stats, like chances created and people flexing chances created. That's weird. I don't think I could say that in my cousin in Argentina. I'd be like, yeah, well, our chances created is one of the highest. They'd be like, okay, like look at the scoreboard, bro.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I think for Austin, you just got to keep it cool. I think this game is going to be huge for Austin. Away from home, winning away from home in any team is always a flex. It's always a good thing and great for your mentality. I don't know who you guys play after that, but Sporting, it's like another team where last season we got absolutely just slapped by Austin. So I'm sure some Sporting fans are feeling some type of way. I can't really speak for them, Sporting fans. I'm very confused about anything they believe in. I know what I believe in, and I love Austin. So for me, it's just like, I hope Sporting plays all right. I hope Gyasi gets in a goal, so I can at least celebrate that and not look a little suspicious for celebrating an Austin goal. But yeah, I'm just hoping for a good game. That's all I care about. When it's Austin, I'm here for vibes. It's not like bragging rights. I'm not looking forward to the highlight or tweeting out people. There's other teams where I definitely feel that way. Like a Dallas. Don't even get me fucking started with Dallas. Like I get blown up by their admin all the time. Every damn highlight, it's like they comment. So it was great beating them. I don't feel that way with Austin. I just don't have that hostility. Even I've talked to Sporting fans that are like, I guess, jealous of Austin, but it's not like an angry jealous. It's just like, man, I remember those days. I remember when we were hyped like that and our atmosphere was good. And that's it. So I guess we could just see ourselves in you guys a lot for sure. Hopefully you guys don't go our direction. Just hopefully. Stay there, But yeah, that's at least the vibes for me.
Yeah, hopefully both squads are trending up as we continue through this season. We'll see. What you mentioned Seba. I think both E and I expect Gyasi to start after coming off the bench the last two, which obviously is going to be a big boon at the very least, just talent wise on the field. And as they continue to get healthier here in Austin, then I think for us the microscope shifts more towards the coaching staff and how they're going to adjust now that they're getting closer to full health. Still struggling on the back line there, but Owen Wolff coming back. Not a bad showing for him out there at the U20s.
He did good, yeah.
We'll wrap it up here with score predictions as we always do. So we'll let our guest go first, and I'll let you know a little secret. Ian has never picked a draw or a loss for Austin FC, so we'll see if that'll be today. But Kevin, we'll shoot it to you first. Score prediction: Sporting KC versus Austin this Saturday.
I am not going to bet against Austin because of last year, but what I'll say is this is my hopeful score prediction. Maybe not what I feel, but I would love a 2-2 draw. If we're leading and they come back, that would hurt. If it's the other way, fine. But an Austin team, especially against us, I got to go with history. No matter what we're leading, who knows? Austin does not give up. And even with your season right now, you guys don't look like a team that gives up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't finish,
Yeah.
You can't.
It's Saturday against RSO, man.
Yeah, exactly. You just cannot, get that final goal in the final third or whatever. So obviously, and especially with our back line and our defense and our struggles, we're like the team to be, up 2-0 and then lose it all. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm going 2-2, just praying for that.
All right. E?
Okay. Man, I'm gonna have to go 2-1. Obviously, I can't break my streak. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, in 10 years, I'll be able to look back at every single, fixture and be like, I know my all-time record.
Yeah.
I'll be able to I predicted a win here. So I'm 0-300.
Yes. I was going to say, what even is your percentage there of getting a
bye? Just right in lockstep with the squad.
For sure. Yeah. All right.
I will go and this look. I'll put my toxic positive hat on here. Austin FC, I think, since beating LAFC at home last August, has scored more than 2 goals once. I think in 31 matches. But guess what? Here's the second time. 3-1 Austin. Ooh. I cannot predict a clean sheet on the road with our backline struggles as well. And I see this kind of shooting out a little bit, but I think that this means a ton for both teams. But Driussi back, Johnny Russell out. To me, I'm leaning to Austin and a little bit extra juice just for good measure there. So
good call.
There it is, everybody.
Safe enough.
I appreciate, both of us appreciate the time, Kevin, here, especially in the middle of a Wednesday afternoon. I guess anything else you want to add? Tell the people what you got going on, where they can find you. I know the list is lengthy.
No, yeah. I guess the only thing I could plug is I do have, like I mentioned before, I do have like this quick little rundown of the TST tournament. So if you guys want to check it out, it's on Keviñcho TV on YouTube. I'll post something on Twitter too. Same ad on Twitter. But just for people that's interested in this league that have tournament that no one really heard about until like super last minute. I think those type of tournaments, especially this one, is going to be huge for soccer fans. Everyone I met out there that talked to me and had time to talk to me, especially some people who knew who I was, were just saying, dude, I'm not even a soccer fan. This is the most fun I've had. And that's the idea of a TST or even TBT. It's just to bring in fans that maybe are just not so much into the sport to get them excited and then eventually transition to the league play and whatnot. So yeah, check it out there. Hopefully by the end of day today, I'll even have it up. So I don't know when this will be out, but you could go back on socials and check it out. But no, it's been great. Thank you guys for having me. It's been awesome.
I appreciate you once again, Kevin. And hey, once you guys finish listening to episode 62 here, you pop on over to Kevin's channel, check out that TST rundown recap. We will do the same, of course. Kevin Lopez, everybody. Appreciate it, my friend. And hopefully we'll have you back on at some point.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Man, thanks to Kevin. That was a blast chopping it up with him. Obviously, like I said, it couldn't have been better timing to talk with the biggest Messi fan that I know, and get his thoughts there. Obviously, somebody who's been watching the league again a lot longer than us. You don't have to look far for somebody like that in the fan space compared to us. But yeah, recapping the TST. Everybody, go watch that video, man. I'm gonna watch that tonight after work for sure. Because watching all his content from the East Coast last weekend was fun. And hopefully our predictions come true and his falls flat. Yeah, we would love to see that.
That was awesome. I mean, who's had a better couple of months here than this man?
Right.
Got him at the hottest point in time. And rumor has it, sources are saying that the Messi deal could not get finalized until we scheduled this interview.
Oh yeah.
So, y'all are welcome. Got him in there, but man, that TST thing sounds super fun.
Yeah. I got to catch a couple matches. I watched the final on Sunday, and man, it was. I mean, you and I are big TBT fans, right?
Yep.
It's the same vibe, man. It's so cool.
Super intense. And yeah, just one thing from the Kevin interview that I wanted to touch on that we didn't get to touch on a little bit there, but it seems like for the improvement and the betterment of the entire league, what needs to happen, regardless of how Messi performs, regardless of how Inter performs, this is a moment that the league as a whole needs to capitalize on for it to be a successful endeavor. Because no matter, he's going to be, he's forever, however long he's here for, the successes or the failures of that club, this could potentially be a turning point for the entire league to get more interest, to solidify status internationally, wherever it may be. So really hopeful that, you're starting to see more and more names pop up now, and Kevin has been a staunch supporter of, we don't want to be the retirement league.
Yeah.
But there's only a lot of good things, not only, but there's many good things that can happen from this Messi signing for everyone. And I know obviously we're jealous and a little salty that these other clubs are bringing in all kinds of names, but hopefully it can propel the league forward. And that's just good business for everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, I would shout out Chris Wellhausen, who tweeted earlier today, highlighting 22 years old, Thiago Almada, Ricky Puig, 23, Talles Magno is 20, Brandon Vasquez, 24, Facundo Torres, 23. He said, if you think MLS is a retirement league just because Leo Messi is coming here, you're just not paying attention. I agree. I had to add Rodney Redis, 23 years old. I mean, you can't overlook the Lord. Yeah, thanks again to Kevin. Hopefully we didn't scare him off from coming back sometime in the future, but we'll still be tuning into all his content and the live streams, etc. Let's talk last business day here because the children, they pre-avenged us last weekend and not playing the same club here this weekend. Whitecaps too coming to town, but hoping these guys can get another win streak going here after the 3-0 drubbing that they put on Real Monarchs last Saturday. Like I said, Whitecaps coming to town, 8 p.m. Central on Friday out there at the pitch. Whitecaps 2, it's actually been founded twice. That's a new one for us here on our Next Pro tour. Founded for the first time in 2014 and competed as a USL side until 2017. Then they were disbanded, and the Whitecaps entered an affiliation with Fresno SC, who was a USL expansion side in 2017. Then last year, when Next Pro was announced, Whitecaps 2 refounded in 2021, started play in 2022. And then I found an article that said from the club that said they were supposed to undergo a rebrand in 2023. It does not appear that that's happened. They are still Vancouver Whitecaps FC2. So maybe it was like a slight logo change, but nothing I could find there. So maybe that's coming at some point this season for them. But the way that this Whitecaps 2 team looks, I don't think they need to rebrand much because they've been a good team so far this year. They weren't great in 2022 on their maiden voyage through Next Pro. 7 wins, 8 draws, 9 losses. They finished 7th in the West, did not qualify for the Next Pro playoffs last year. But Simon Betcher, and we know all about him. He was their captain and led them in goals scored with 8 last year in 22 appearances. So I thought this was an interesting comparison. Alfonso Ocampo Chavez scored 9 goals for Tacoma last year in Next Pro with about 190 more minutes than Betcher. But the fact that his production was on that level just gives me even more confidence that a guy like AOC is going to be able to come up and contribute to the first team at some point, whether it's league play or Open Cup next year or what have you. This is a guy who had similar success to a guy like Betcher, who is making his mark on MLS, at least on that team up there in Vancouver. Betcher actually did attend St. Louis University like our boy Kip, and Betcher was the 16th pick in the 2022 draft. Of course, he has 12 total appearances for Vancouver with 5 goals, 11 appearances and 4 goals this season in the league, plus another 3 goals from other competitions for Vancouver. So I think Betcher, right, he's kind of the anomaly. He's like the ceiling of what we're going to see these next couple years, the top guys coming out of Next Pro. But it was just, it piqued my interest that he was so close to AOC statistically last year. I guess let's talk about what they're doing now, though, right? Okay. Coached by Ricardo Clark. Clark is a 40-year-old former U.S. national team midfielder. Okay, 34 caps for the national team with 3 goals, including 2 Gold Cups and a spot on the 2010 World Cup team. Coach Clark had 356 MLS appearances with 36 goals. And then right in the middle of his career there, a short stint at Eintracht Frankfurt overseas. He was a Whitecaps assistant coach from 2021 till February of this year when he was installed as the head coach of Whitecaps 2. This year, they are sitting 1 point currently above Austin FC2 in the standings. The difference there is one more shootout victory than Austin. They have 6 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, but 2 of those draws shootout wins compared to just 1 of Austin's 3 draws. So 23 points total for them, 23 goals for to 17 against. So scoring a little bit more than Austin, but letting in almost double the goals so far in the same amount of games. They have wins, quality wins here over Tacoma, North Texas, and Dynamo Dos. But losses to Timbers 2 and Galaxy 2 twice. So this team is vulnerable. And, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with them maybe calling some of their first teamers up and having a younger squad out there. Currently 8 first teamers listed on their roster with 9 academy players. They're led in scoring so far this year by Levante Johnson. He leads them in scoring with 5 goals. He wears number 28 for those of you going out to the pitch or watching on TV or on Apple TV on Friday. Cameron Habibullah is right behind him. He wears number 30. He's got 4 goals, and he is a first-team contract, unlike Johnson. 3 first-team appearances for number 30 there, and then Gyasi Ngando. He's wearing number 26. He's their highest-rated player on FOTMob this season, also on a first-team contract and 2 appearances for the first team this season. So quality side coming in to the pitch on Friday evening. Our guys are going to, it's a good challenge after last week. I think, both of us kind of thought that's a team we should absolutely take care of and beat. Tougher challenge ahead of the young boys here. But let's talk about us. We saw the lineup on Friday get a little bit more kind of back to what we're used to. We had AOC come off the bench, so he was back in the team. I guess here's the first thing I'm going to be looking for from the ATX FC2 lineup here this week, is Kip Keller on it. Because to me, that's going, and rocket science here, right? If he's not available, to me, that says Rado's going to be missing on Saturday. But what else do you want to see from this lineup? Because again, like we say nearly every week, team is deep, man.
Yeah. And I think to your point, if Kip's not on the club, then you're going to see that 4-back that we talked about earlier with the first team. I would like to see AOC back into the starting position. Whatever was going on there has obviously been remedied. Valentin healthy. I would like to see him start next to Valti. Valti didn't get to start last week, right?
No, came in, I think, 80th. I think after that 3rd goal is when he came on. We haven't seen a ton of the Grill Master lately. So, but again, like at almost every position, it's so competitive that, the margins are just razor thin at this type of level.
Yeah. I mean, someone has a great week in training, coach got to put him in the starting lineup because, there's just enough talent on this roster. But I do think we see Valti here paired up with Valentin. Obviously, it's hard to go away from CJ and David out there on the wings. Even if Rado's healthy, I think there's a very high possibility you still see Kip get on the first team roster here. So I'm going to go ahead and say Sally Maz in the back with Captain Joe. I think you'll see Czech as well, and probably Charlie.
Yeah. Czech and Chuck.
Czech and Chuck. I think that's. I'm having trouble counting today. Counting to 10.
I think you. I think you got it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I have too much more to add. It will be interesting to see if Bobo is gone yet or not, because international break is, I think, after this weekend, but could very well be on his way. To those Ugandan matches already, and we got the bodies to fill in if he is absent. So
absolutely.
Definitely excited for this one. Getting back out there at the pitch. It's been too long for me, which is 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Can't go longer than that, man. All All right, let's do score predictions here. I know that this is not the first time you are predicting an Austin FC 2 draw or loss. So how much are the Young Boys winning by here on Friday night?
Well, as you mentioned, this team gets up and down the field, scores a lot of goals, relinquishes a lot of goals. So I do think you're going to see a high-scoring affair. With that being said, I don't know much about this Whitecaps 2 keeper, but I'm going to say he's not better than Damian Lost. And I think Damian's going to be the difference in this game. Two talented clubs coming in here. I think you see a 3-2 win for Austin FC 2. Starting to really start hum again, which is what we want for these boys.
So I'm trying to see. I know Thomas Hasal is on the roster here for Whitecaps 2, who I think Hasal has made maybe a lot is an exaggeration. I don't have his game log up in front of me, his career stats, but I know we've seen Hasal up with the first team a good bit. So it doesn't look like he's made an appearance yet down here, but he's on the roster. So potentially, if Hasal's in goal, pretty darn good keeper there. So we'll see on Friday. Score prediction for me. It's a good team. This is a good team. Give me a – God, it's hard to say that Damian's going to let in multiple goals.
It is, but they're good. Yeah. They're good.
Well, with the potential for, we lose some size if Captain Joe is playing center back, right?
Yep.
He's obviously up for the task, but I'm going to go 2-2 draw and a shootout win for the Young Boys. So prove me wrong, fellas. Let's get all three. But I'm showing some respect to this Vancouver side who's been very good so far to start this season. Just about as good as us. We're at home. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. Welcome to the pitch. Tough to win here.
Yep. And let's be loud. The children will be out there. Masks and all the costumes out there. We'll bring the noise too. I guess one thing we want to talk about, obviously we had an extensive Messi conversation with Kevin, but not that obviously dwarfs this news in comparison, but this is not nothing. First of all, last night, Jefferson Savarino sent out of RSL to Fortaleza, which if I'm not mistaken is where we sent Tomas Pochettino down there in Brazil. I might be mistaken. But regardless, Savarino, the best player on Real Salt Lake, out was a head scratcher last night, but then makes sense because this morning Pachuca will send Chicho Arango to RSL. And man, I know that that was a facepalm moment for me because I don't think we had the resources to go out and get him from LAFC. They would also have had to want to trade him within the conference to the team that was against them in the Western Conference Final last year. But goddamn, would it be nice to have a Chicho Arango up top. Thoughts on that? That to me, you lose Savarino, that's a big hit. But we know what Arango can do. For me, this is I'll say a slight plus for RSL.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say it's a full plus.
Okay.
He's fucking good. He knows how to score. It would have been awesome if we could have snagged him. Just a move that's going to be lost in the madness that is Messi to MLS. But will have ramifications and impact on how this Western Conference finally, sorts itself out. Good teams separating themselves from the lesser teams, and this is a big sign. What do you get? Like 6 mil, 6.3?
Well, I think that was the transfer fee.
That was the fee.
I'm not sure what his salary is going to be here, but I imagine it's going to be a DP salary.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have to wait until the next salary drop, which is months away because MLS, to see what's actually going on there. But maybe I'm just hoping that it's not a full plus for them, just because they're right next to us in the table.
Absolutely.
So, let's move on to the nonsense here. We'll start with the best ball update. And hey, man, 2 good performances by the good guys here. We talked about the Week 16 results, barely squeaking out a win over We Are Austin TV. We didn't make up hardly any ground. I think we were 3 points over those guys. in the midweek games, and only 5 over Moon Tower then. So we'll always take the win, right?
Mm-hmm.
Profit is profit there. But over the weekend, North End Podcast. Let's go, 55 points.
Try, baby.
47 for Moon Tower. So make up a little bit of ground there. And then this is the big jump here. We swapped second and third place with We Are Austin TV because they had I think their second toughest week of the year, 32 points. Of course, they caught DNP from Zardes. Thiago Almada was on bye, so obviously it's going to be tough to overcome when you don't get any points out of a guy like that. 32 points as well for Texas Ring of Fire, who, I mean, we've been through the laundry list of injuries and DNPs for RB. But hey, transfer window, if they're still in fourth in a couple weeks, guess what? They got first pick. Wonder who they're going to take.
I wonder. It's really up in the air.
We'll see when the time comes. So full standings now. Moon Tower still coasting out in front. 809 points here through 17 weeks of scoring. North End Podcast up into second, 742. We Are Austin TV on our heels, 730. We have not shook those guys off our tail yet. And then RB 669, which, that you could say very nice to that, but I'm sure he'd be a lot happier if he was a little closer to the field. So we're revamping our teams very soon. So we're going to get a chance to do it. One thing I joked about with RB a couple of days ago, I think he commented on the standings that we posted on Twitter. Liga MX does 2 seasons every year. They have I think Apertura, Classura. I'm probably butchering the shit out of that, but they do 2 seasons within a year. Maybe next year, not this year, but maybe next year we do 2 seasons like that where we just completely redraft in the summer window. It's just an idea. What do you think?
I saw the tweet, and it might as well have been in French because I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even want to like it. I was like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about right now. Yeah. He's like, Apertura. So I don't know. I have no opinion on it whatsoever because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay. More drafts for us. We like draft season.
Bro, we draft. We do so many drafts.
I draft professionally.
Yeah, you more than anyone. You might be the drafter in the world.
All right, let's talk betting picks here, and I guess the smiles can leave our faces here because we say a season full of almost so far for us in FC. I think it's fair to say at times you could say a season of almost for our bets. Sometimes it's just terrible, but this weekend, man, Austin minus 105, Dallas plus 120, perfect bet. We'll take that. Houston minus 110, perfect bet. Didn't come through. We'll still take those 2, not the Austin one. Vancouver minus 115, couldn't get it done. Believe they caught a draw. You did hit, the hammer 2 weeks in a row. Philly minus 195, 2 units. Did hit that. You also hit the Fighting Roonies plus 180.
Yeah.
Attaboy, 2 weeks in a row you've been carrying us, and I've been just dragging us down to the depths. But we almost had a positive week because Toronto plus 310 was leading in the 89th minute before Minnesota equalized. Manuel Reynoso came on, looked pretty good. So minus 2.17 units on the week. Goddamn Toronto, man. Minus 29.28 units on the season. It's a lot of cash. So
that's a lot of grambling.
Well, come on. Let's go Grambling, and let's make the week 18 picks here. And I'll throw it to you. I think you start us off nice and easy, kind of where we go every week. I'm
just going to go on record right now and saying this is the week.
Okay.
This is record. It's coming. This is the positive week, kid.
All right.
It's coming. I'm going to give it the Charles Barkley guarantee.
Okay, because he's always right when he says that.
Yeah. That's my little loophole. If
there you go.
If it doesn't pan out the way I'm hoping. We don't got to look far to get our first bet here. Austin at Sporting Kansas City, obviously a very hot team. But again, as Kevin said too, we have the more talented roster. Mm-hmm. Our best players are back. Obviously, we're without Leo. I don't know if we'll ever be fully healthy this season. I don't know if it's in the cards for us, just with what we've been dealing with. But again, better team, getting them at plus 260. And, we're going to lock it in and hope for the best.
Yeah, lock it in. And I'm going to go back to my old reliable in the sense that I pick them every week, and they seem to come up short more often than not. Seattle Sounders on the road taking on Charlotte. They're plus 180 here. Another team that's getting a little bit healthier. And, would I take a Seattle loss for our Western Conference purposes? Sure. Mm-hmm. But I think they get it done here. Plus 180 Seattle on the road at Charlotte. We'll lock that in, and I'll throw it back to you.
Going back to everyone's favorite team, the prop isn't up yet, and we have discussed it. We think it's because there's games tonight. Yeah. So hopefully this does get posted.
It will get posted at some point.
Okay.
No odds yet. You're taking it regardless, huh?
Yes, we're taking it regardless. It's a Seba anytime goal. I don't know if the numbers that come out will be factoring in that he hasn't started yet, and I'm hoping that they might. We can get a little juicier. But anytime goal for Seba. I talked about it earlier in the pod. We're going to need these guys to play well to get wins. And Seba's a goal scorer. I know he's frustrated after the last match versus RSL when he had some opportunities that he can put home in his sleep. So here's hoping that those chances are created again, which is something positive we have been doing. And I know Kevin also mentioned, chances created is not the best statistic, but I have faith in my boy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, the guy could have had a brace last weekend. He should have. So he was saving it for this week so we can get the goal and the units. So we appreciate Seba for that. I'm going to go to a home team here out east. Give me Orlando City SC, the Fighting Felipes. Okay, Colorado coming to town. I don't respect Colorado outside of the elevation. So minus 125 for that purple team down there in Florida. They didn't get Messi, but they're going to get a win this week. So Orlando minus 125, lock it in.
Very nice. Going back to the Fighting Roonies. Did me proud last week. Have been doing me proud all season.
True.
Honestly. Getting them at plus 310. I'm sorry, I got to pull up. They got
taking on Atlanta.
Atlanta, yes, who is playing tonight.
Yeah, true.
Person, very talented, obviously, LAFC club. So I think they're going to try to put their best foot forward here. And regardless of who they play, you should see some rotation. You should see some tired legs. And the Fighting Roonies know how to take advantage of that stuff. So plus 310, like it. First positive week. Here it comes.
Here we go. A couple more here for us. I know you are out on the anti-St. Louis City crusade, but I am not. I'm going down with the ship here. And St. Louis City, this is a Sunday match, okay? Early afternoon. Think might be actually a noon match here. Galaxy coming to town. Klein is out. Now we can start focusing on the team again. And I think they get a big result here. I think the supporters walk away happy that they go on the road to look, I may not believe in the St. Louis team, but that is a tough place to play right now with the environment that they fostered out there in St. Louis. I think the Galaxy get it done. It's just a raw talent thing for me. Maybe our boy Ricky Pooch gets going here. Plus 225 on the road, LA Galaxy. We'll put that on the board. I don't know how I feel about it, but I hate St. Louis, man.
Did you hear that siren that was going by as you were making that pick? I think that was the universe trying to tell you to stay away from this one. As the founder of the fuck St. Louis pick, who got burnt on it probably 3 or 4 times, it's hard for me to advocate for it, but come on, baby. We'll take it. All right, so now I'm going to contradict myself from the DC United pick here and go to LAFC, who is playing tonight. I think that they are more well equipped to handle this intra-week game and have the depth, obviously, the amount of talent that they have to be able to rotate the guys appropriately and then go ahead and get a dub. So I got them at plus 130. And again, I fucking didn't write down who they were playing, and it slipped my mind again.
It's that orange team. That's why it slipped your mind.
Oh, that's right. That irrelevant. Yeah. Yes. So I like it even more. Obviously, that orange team is having some success in the cups here, but we don't need to talk about that. It will get dunked on by LAFC, and it will be in preparation for them to get dunked on by Austin FC.
Correct. I love that pick. You're going against the best, the perfect bet there.
Yeah,
and I approve.
That's right.
All right, let me close it out here. Going to another road side here. Chicago looking to bounce back from the trouncing they received last night at the hands of those orange folks. But Columbus plus 165 here. Again, Zelarayan and Cucho, Coach Nancy, like these guys are humming, at least offensively. So I'm going to Columbus plus 165 at Chicago, and we'll put that one on the board and lock in the week 18 picks here. So you've got Austin plus 260 at SKC. You've got Driussi to anytime goal, no odds yet, but we'll add those, of course, when they're posted. You've got the Fighting Roonies, DC plus 310 at Atlanta, and LAFC plus 130 at Houston. I've got Seattle plus 180 at Charlotte, Orlando City minus 125 hosting Colorado, Galaxy plus 225 at St. Louis City, and Columbus Crew plus 165 at the Chicago Fire. Those are the week 18 betting picks. And I've got one more thing before we get out of here. Shout out to Ben, hat tip to Ben in the LDR Slack. Where a lot of good content is birthed, I guess you could say. Ben pointing out that Leagues Cup is coming up. If Austin wins their group and their round of 32 match, and Inter Miami wins their group and their round of 32 match, Austin FC will host Inter Miami in the round of 16 in Leagues Cup. So not like a lot of things have to happen for that to come to pass, right? But it is a possibility. So certainly something to look forward to when Leagues Cup gets here. Can you imagine if that happened and then he just sits out?
I mean, have you seen the tickets that have been sold for games he's not going to fucking play in at all?
Yeah.
So if anyone's looking to capitalize on the 14% ticket,
right. Yeah,
sell your tickets to this game for this potential match if it happens.
Yeah.
Make the difference up.
Yeah.
Bring it into next season.
Yeah.
No, I can't even imagine what that would be like. Yeah.
Well, I'm not even sure, dude. I don't know if we get tickets to those. I think we get group stage, but it might be, maybe we get a pre-sale or whatever if we're season ticket holders, but I don't think those are guaranteed.
Well, shit.
We ain't going then.
Price,
dude, if that happens, there's no way we're affording that.
No way?
Bro, if it's $450 for a Red Bulls game?
That's in New York, though.
Okay. It's in New Jersey, actually, I think. Dude, it's going to be just $500 at least to get in here, at least.
Would we sit in the fucking Inter Miami up there in the nose there? I'd be willing to do it for.
Bro, I'll go. I don't know the guy's name who lives in the apartment and always puts his flag out, posts the picture, but we need to be. Can we watch from there? Binoculars like we're on Verde Hill.
What's the limit? What can you not spend a cent more? Leo Messi coming to town.
Fuck, man, I don't know.
Gotta talk to Annabelle.
I guess yeah, right. Yeah, let me check with the fiance first, and then I'll get back to you. So,
you just released that?
Broke the news, I guess.
Oh shit! Well, congratulations to both y'all. Obviously, two of my favorite people in the world. Love you very much, and looking forward to partying.
Yeah. We will certainly do that. I appreciate you, my friend. And we appreciate all of you for listening to episode 62 of the North End Podcast. If you've got 5 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the pod, wherever you get your podcasts, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. And you can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And, of course, on this episode, hit that thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords. Atone for your sins. Wash yourselves clean in the revenue share of Apple and Adidas. We will be back on Sunday recapping Austin FC's matchup against Sporting KC, recapping Austin FC 2's matchup against Whitecaps 2, and talking about all kinds of other nonsense. Hey, go follow Kevin's channels as well. That's some fantastic content. So go do that. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week. Let's get ready, man. We're going again on Saturday. Big 3 points incoming for everybody's favorite team. Until then, he's E. I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.